Just when you think you've seen all the roll cage frames, another one shows up. Today we're taking a look at the TinslyRC F50 frame. This is an F50, it's also available in an F60 and an F40 depending on the size of propellers you want to run. Also available in golden and blue. Today we're looking at the blue one. So the F50 is also referred to as the rocket frame. Let's see here. The Tinsly F40, F50, F60 rocket frame assembly. Now usually when they have instructions, it usually means that it either has a lot of different size screws or they're just really good at including instructions. Hopefully this is the latter. Let's see what it comes with. Get this thing open and start putting it together. When you're assembling this frame, you want to start with the main plate, run the screw down through it, through the arms, down into the metal piece here on the bottom, and that will help hold it all together as you put the rest of the frame together. Here are the two pieces of the roll cage put together. Basically, you just put two of the little M3 6mm screws into both of these holes, and it screws in there together, and let's see how much this weighs. This thing weighs 33 grams. So here on the main plate, here are the 4 screws that we started with, holding the main plate down to the bottom plate. Then you have these long screws that go through here and they go all the way up this whole distance. And inside here, if you look close, there's a little metal or a little plastic gasket that goes inside there. And it's kind of squishy, and then your power distribution board sits on there. And you use these 10mm spacers here to help hold that flight board down and also give you a little bit more room for your USB port on your flight board. Then you have these little smaller screws or spacers and screws that go up here into the top, and then your flight board would sit inside here. And you can have your stackable VTX, or you could use the included plate like this and put up here on the top to provide another place to mount your video transmitter or any other equipment that you have. So here it is fully assembled. This roll cage is held in place by 4 screws, 2 up here in the front, 2 back here in the back. And these actually provide a dual purpose. They go through the arm, up through the main plate there, and up into here to provide not only strength to hold this down, but also strength to hold the arms into place. So the arms are held in place by that screw, the screw we put in the very beginning, and then partially by the screw that holds the flight board and power distribution into place. Now the screws that were included are 10mm, and you can see they're not quite in all the way, and I tried to screw them in a little bit extra hard and they would not go. So this really needs about maybe an 8mm screw to go through here, or the holes should have been cut a little deeper up here in the aluminum. But because of that, I can't crank these arms down very well, so they kind of get a little bit of a loose, clicky feel. You can kind of see it here in the middle. You can kind of see how it comes apart a little bit. But if I replace these screws with some 8mm screws, it should hold that a lot better and not have that little wiggly there. I'll do that here in just a second. One nice feature of this frame is this metal piece down here. Not only is this providing strength to your arms and a place to mount your power distribution board, but it also has the little slot here where the battery strap can slide through there. And that way you're not trying to slide it up underneath your flight board back through there. Now, a lot of my flight boards have little holes on the sides, and they're always a pain if you're going up through the hole and over and then down through the other hole to get it in there. This one here slides in nice and easy, and if you do rip this at the flying field, it will be extremely easy to replace. Here I have the scale. I'll go ahead and get this on here, and this does include the power distribution board and the XT60 connector and the battery strap. And this comes up to be about 168. And the power distribution board and the XT60 connector together weigh about 13 grams. So we'll take that off. Plus I think this is another 4 grams for the battery strap. Yeah, another 4 grams. So you're down somewhere near what, 151 grams for the quadcopter by itself. There we go. 8mm screws in place. Oh yeah, this frame feels a lot more solid. Let me try to get these other ones tightened up a little bit more too. These were a little loose, but no, they're not. And now if I pull these, I don't see any movement coming across. Look at this little gap right here in the middle, and I don't see any movement coming, pushing together, pulling apart. No, it's pretty solid. It just needs some little bit shorter screws in there, and it is good to go. 8mm instead of 10. So we'll get a little closer look at this. These screws that come up through here, You have plenty of room up here for 2 boards and also a little bit of extra height up here on the top. It's about 25 millimeters of space between the main plate and the top here. So and also inside you have a little bit more room because these sides just kind of come down. It's not solid all the way across. So you have a little bit of extra headroom inside there. And there should be enough room to have your flight board here in the middle and a stackable video transmitter up on top. And you're not going to be hurting for space because this is pretty good and open inside here. Now also with the camera sitting back here, you're going to be able to use your run cam with the extra piece hanging off the back to try to tighten up both screws so that it doesn't come loose in your crashes. Also back here is where your video transmitter antenna will mount into there. And this is going to be metal here so that when you put your antenna through here, it's actually going to ground your frame. So you just want to make sure that you are aware of that and you don't have any hot wires or positive wires touching any part of the frame because it could short out. Here I have a run cam Swift 2 installed. Yes, that is a cracked lens from my last race, but you can see that with the little piece on the back, it goes from a near straight, maybe a little bit down angle, maybe just a little bit, to a really good angle there, and the frame does not get in the way at all. Also, you'll notice that it doesn't stick out at all past the roll cage, which is really good because that will protect the camera from all kinds of direct impacts. Now, it won't help you with twigs or sticks, but it will help you from direct impacts, running into trees or anything else. And also, if you go into a roll, your camera's not going to be sticking out to take into the impact. So let's go ahead and measure these arms real quick just to get an idea. Zero that out. The arms are about 4 millimeters thick, which is pretty standard on these kind of style of frames. Now you can see here the arm is a little bit narrower here and a little bit wider up here. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this in the middle just to get an idea. Comes up to be about 22 millimeters. A lot of the X frames that you see are going to be more closer to 15, and a lot of the stretched X's are going to be between 15 and 20. So this kind of goes right along in line with that. Also, you can see up here, this is kind of a cool design. And I've talked to several frame designers, and they say designing the arms to make them look unique is becoming more and more difficult because so many people are using, using a lot of the patterns. So these guys did a little differently. They moved instead of having this thing straight in line with the arm, they moved it up a little bit, and the wires can still run down the middle, but they also added in this little thing up here, which just makes it look kind of cool, and it should also help with direct impacts so that your frame takes it instead of your motors. On the directions here, it says the wheelbase on an F250 is about 230 millimeters, so just trust me, it's what it says. So we'll center the ruler there, bring it over here. Comes up to be about maybe 232, 233 probably on the diagonal. So 230 is good enough, that's what I would have called it. And on the left to right, you're coming in about 160. And on the front to back, we're coming in about 168, maybe almost 170. Yeah, so it's a little bit stretched X. It's not a lot of stretched X, but it is a little bit wider front to back than it is side to side. So this is the carbon fiber piece that's included with the kit. These screws are 30.5 millimeters apart, and most of your flight boards that are, they say 30, but it's really 30.5 from center to center of the mounting screws. However, this is only about 30 millimeters across, so it doesn't quite fit up on top of that stack. Now, it's not really that big of a deal, especially since a lot more people are making stackable VTXs now. You'll be able to put your VTX right here on the top. If you have an old style one that doesn't mount, then you probably need something like this or some other way to mount it up to the top of the frame. So this is the Tinsly F50 frame. It's also available in an F40 and an F60 for different size of props. If you have any questions about this, leave them down in the comments, and I will try to help you out as best I can. And as always, thanks for watching.